each other. What do you think, Tom?
I think the same thing. I mean, 4 best friends, what do you expect?
I mean, we've all been here. We do it every night, so why not put it to the public?
That's right. What do you think, Taylor?
I think it'll be good. But first, we should probably introduce ourselves, don't you think?
I suppose we
I
could.
mean,
Yeah,
people probably already know who we are.
Well, we'll get in
Fire
depth
off,
with that.
Tom.
Well, I'm Tom Nichols from Watertown, South Dakota. And, yeah.
I'm Carl. That's what most people call me. Also from Watertown, South Dakota.
What's your real name, though, if people try to search you on Facebook?
My name is Jacob Sigurdsson. Follow me on TikTok.
I'm Jason Good. I'm from Watertown, South Dakota. That's about it.
And I'm Taylor Good. I'm from Watertown, South Dakota as well. Okay, this is our first episode of Shop Talk. What are we going to talk about?
Well, it's kind of crazy that how we all ended up here.
Yeah, I mean, what time is it even? 9:58. We decided we're gonna start a podcast.
It's kind of been talked about,
I
but
mean, nothing better to do on a Friday night.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, Watertown doesn't have much to do. We just kind of hang out at the shop. So why not make some use out of it?
Yeah.
Might as well talk about it.
Exactly.
So I mean, like, we can get started on like talking about like Carl. How did you get into the racing gig? What are you doing now?
Well, I was probably still in diapers the first time I went to a racetrack because my godfather was racing sprint cars.
And who is your godfather?
That'd be Terry Riley Repair here in Watertown,
The
South
Wiz.
Dakota. The Watertown Wizard, 69R.
Who is also
My
Tom
uncle.
Nichols'
Tom's
uncle.
I held Tom when he was a baby,
Crazy.
sitting in his grandpa Mike's shop, working on Terry's race car.
18 years later, we're sitting there
We're sitting
doing
here
a podcast.
doing a podcast. So, yeah, started going down to Houston Speedway. And then my old man, Terry, good friends. His old man, my old man, became friends. Then we became friends. Now we're here.
Didn't know each other in high school, but best of friends now. Tom?
So, I got started in racing. I mean, my dad's been around his whole life. He did a bunch of stuff. I traveled the world doing it. And then the next thing you know, my brother started racing.
But wait, before you go that far, who does your dad work for?
Well, my dad, he helps out Tony Stewart at Tony Stewart Racing, the sprint car team. His best friend's the crew chief, and so that's pretty cool. But back to where we were.
But hold on, time out.
Yeah.
Who else did you beat at the Knoxville
Yeah.
Nationals
Yeah.
in the go-kart?
Yeah, there we
You
go.
roughed him up a little
Go-kart
bit.
champion.
Yeah, I spun out Tony Stewart. If you guys know who that is. Ended up winning it. But,
And got a really badass trophy.
yep. It was actually like a micro rim that they put together. That's probably a special moment in my life. But so I got started racing. Next thing I know, my brother's racing, and then the next thing I know, I raced go-karts for a few years, and then all of a sudden I just didn't get out. I got out of it. Mike kept racing his whole life, and then all of a sudden now I'm back in a Midwest Modified, parked by Jason Good every night. Then I met these guys, and all of a sudden we're hanging out like every day.
Got some feature wins under your belt, don't you?
2 of them.
There you go.
Yeah.
And one rollover.
Yeah. Cool story. Flipped in Miller Central Speedway. Next week I came, won.
So what was going through your head when you rolled your Midwest Modified for the first time?
Well, I didn't really know what happened until I was hanging there upside down for like 5 minutes. But then actually, Taylor's brother came to save the day. He was working in the infield. Took my stress down a little bit that I knew somebody was there around. But other than that, I was shook up afterwards. I don't know. Yeah. Have you ever rolled a car before?
Oh yeah, but mine was
When did
not
you
in
roll
a race.
yours?
I rolled mine in a hot laps. But
Hey.
rear end broke, sprung an axle, hit the wall, rolled up on the wall, and tipped it over.
Well, not
So at least yours was in a race, not an hot laps.
but not a lot of people can say they won hot laps either.
I guess. So what makes you want to keep driving or keep
I
racing?
mean, honestly, it's fun and it's very competitive. And now that I've been going with you on the USMTS tour, helping you out a little bit here and there, I mean, that's something I want to do when I'm older. I mean, not everybody gets the opportunity to race, and so I'm very lucky with that. But just the competition, it's insane. Even just around here, I mean, the people I race with every day they're proven to win, and they are proven to be up front every night. So
It's a tough gig. Racing is hard.
very.
People don't understand. Like they just think you turn left. There's a lot more to it when you're in the cockpit
Well, and
than
just
just
like
turning left.
I mean, I race local stuff, and then I go to watch you race at the USMTS. I mean, that's a whole different story. Like, and not a lot of people understand that either. Like, yeah, you can win in Minnesota. That doesn't mean you're going to go race USMTS and win every night and be up front. Like,
Oh yeah, I've seen a
You gotta
lot
be
of
lucky to
really
even make the show.
yeah, I've seen a lot of really good race car drivers go from winning one night and the next night they're in a B main and they don't transfer out and they got to use a provisional to get into the A main.
Yep. And the other reason I like racing is because in order to do good, you got to work hard. And I mean, everything, all the races I won in the shop, and I mean, we see that watching you. I mean, we've shared shops now for 2 years, and just crazy.
Yeah, Carl, what's it like to be a crew chief on the
Well,
USMTS?
Did you grow up thinking you would ever be in this situation?
No, I didn't. So, like I said, when I was a young kid going to the races, Jim Haney, kind of a legend around these parts in the racing world, he always told me when I was a kid I was going to be the one driving. Then he told me, you got to be a skinny little guy to get in those things. So,
Hey, that's not true.
but no, I mean, it's such a cool deal to go all over the country and see all these different places. And I mean, it's a tough deal, but stick it out. It's a good place to be.
Let me ask you this, Siggy. What did you do like 2 years ago? Remember that? Big announcement at Casino Speedway?
Oh yeah,
How was that?
I tried to do the announcing deal for a while, but I like being in the pits. I like watching the people that I know race, the people that I care about. That's you two, and yeah. So I had to get back in the pits, and then 1 year later we're down in Texas, and then we're in Louisiana, and it's
Yeah, and our
cool.
first year wasn't that good. I mean, we were horrible.
There was a few that on them 3-4 day weekends.
Yeah.
Driving
You're about ready
home
to
on
throw in the
Sunday,
towel.
it's a tough deal, but like you said, Tom, the competition's crazy.
Yeah, it's nuts. I mean, what do you think of being my wife and I go racing, traveling all over? Is it hard to be a racer's wife or no?
Yes. It's got lots of pros and cons.
What are the cons? Start out with the cons.
Yeah.
We'll start with the good stuff.
No, you gotta start with the bad stuff and on the good stuff.
Okay. The bad stuff. Lack of sleep all summer long. What is it? 8 months out of the year we're racing? 9 months with
Pretty
USMTS?
close.
Yeah, so when did we start? We started in
Early March to the
Early
very
March.
end of
Well, and if you
And
count
October.
winter racing,
yeah,
you got Florida, Arizona, Vegas, New
yeah.
Mexico now. So if you count those months, I guess 8, 9
Yeah,
months out
yeah.
of the year.
Basically, you race all year round. You get a month break here and
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
So lack of sleep is the main thing, I think, that really takes a toll on you. From my point of view, cooking all the time.
Really?
Making sure your guys' bellies are fed all the time. You got drinks in the fridge. Making sure everything's cleaned up in the trailer.
Speaking of drinks, I'm kind of thirsty.
It's a good thing you got your Red Solo cup.
Mhm.
And then trying to keep a positive attitude, but knowing you're really, really upset and frustrated, but knowing also knowing there's nothing.
Yeah, so
I can personally
speaking
do
on that
about it.
term, I got my crew guys, they come up to me and, your wife was pissed. But then when I get back into the pits, it's like, good job. And really, deep down, I know I sucked. And then you just sit there with trying to boost my morale. And then next thing you know, I get told by the crew guys, your wife's madder than hell.
Sitting next to Taylor in the stands is a lot of fun.
Okay,
sometimes.
let me ask you this. So everybody knows how crazy Jason is. Does a lot of wild things. Carl, can you agree with me on
I
that?
can agree with you on that. Yeah.
How nervous do you get when he's out on the track?
Very nervous.
Yeah, but what if
But
I'm
I think I get more nervous. Like now, like in Minnesota, I got nervous from other drivers. Like racing against other drivers makes me nervous. Knowing how like the different stages in experience versus the other ones. That makes me nervous in Wissota Land. But then now going in USMTS, first of all, our first year, that made me really nervous because we didn't know. I mean, you didn't know, I guess, you're the driver. But you're racing against the best of the best. I mean,
Oh yeah.
you screw up once, and they're gonna remember you for the rest of your life.
I mean, just
You know?
look at the B mains and look how many people that
Yeah.
could have won a race
Yeah.
that
So-
night did not make the
And
show.
I was on a phone call with Dan Ebert, also races USMTS and Wissota stuff, and he actually was fortunate enough to have Kenny Wallace's crew guy come with him for a month. And he asked him, he said, so now that you've seen it, you've been here, you've done it, what do you think, compared to anything else you've raced against, what do you think of these modified drivers? And don't quote me on this, but Dan Ebert said something like, this crew guy said these guys don't hold a candle to any other series he
And we're getting interrupted
Raced-
by a phone call like
raced
usual.
against.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we do race with, I
The
mean,
best of the
the
best
best
modified
of the best.
drivers in the world, I'd like to say.
I mean, like last weekend we were in Kansas,
yeah.
Yeah.
Humboldt Speedway.
I mean, you're racing against Rodney Sanders. How many wins has that guy had in his life?
How many has
I
he
mean,
won this year already?
exactly.
Like 10.
Rodney
Probably.
Sanders, Dan Ebert, who he just mentioned.
Jake O'Neill.
Jake
Who can hop
O'Neill.
into a modified after racing
Yep.
a late model for 2 months and win.
Yep.
Right.
Jake Tin, Dustin Sorensen's another wheelman that's getting up there. I mean, you're racing against the best of the best. Every weekend we go out there just to either get our shit wrecked or not even make a B main and make it through a B main and not even make the show. And it's really frustrating knowing that you could compete really well in Wissota Land, but then you come here and it's a completely different ball game. You know, we weren't used to that our first year. We didn't really think it was gonna be. We knew it was gonna be hard, but we didn't think it was gonna be
yeah,
this
what
hard. So
did we race? Like, I just talked to my dad about this. We raced, how many shows last year?
65.
Just
65.
Or just USMTS shows, how many
just
did we race?
USMTS USRA was 40 shows.
So we raced 40 shows and we only made 13 shows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This year so far, we raced in Texas. We made both them shows.
We raced
And
2
then-
nights in Kansas.
And 2 nights in Kansas, and we made
and
both
we
them
both
shows.
Yeah, so we're 4 for 4 right now.
Yeah.
On the
So
year.
knock on wood.
Yeah, we can't complain. Obviously, we're gonna have our bad nights.
Yeah.
And let me tell you this. You know what's competitive? For me as a race car driver, I don't really get nervous when I'm on the track. But being a crew guy last weekend, watching you, I was nervous.
Yeah.
I'm the same.
There's
way.
a whole nother
I'm-
level
I
of
don't know,
nervous.
I've
it's-
always said I'm more nervous than you ever are
Yep.
when you get
It's
in the car.
intense.
Yeah,
Like,
yep. Like you set the wrong air pressure, or you say over and over again in your head, I know I set the air pressure in the right rear to whatever it was, you know? But
That's
then
correct,
he hits the
and-
track and you're like, did I
Did
put
I
a
do
wheel cover
that?
on?
Yeah.
Did I put the right pressure
that
in there?
is right, because like I've been with you guys. We're
Yeah.
going to Wissota,
Yep.
worked on the car, and then I go to the USMTS shows, and I'm
Yep.
like, okay, you got to look at this twice. Make sure you did it
Yep.
right, because
You got
Do
to
something
second.
wrong?
Yep. You
Yeah,
got to
and
double
you're
gonna
check your
feel
work
bad,
in USMTS.
man.
Even like-
USMTS is no joke.
Even like Wissota racing, I mean, it's still intense, but like
Yeah.
USMTS this year, I mean, we're racing for a points championship of $100,000.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think that puts a lot more intensity to it too. I mean, you can win. I think for like A mods, it's $7,500 or $8,000 to win the national points. But on the same token, we're racing for 5,000 to 10,000 on weekly races for the USMTS. Or when
It's-
we're on tour, we're $5,000 to $10,000, and then we got a couple crown jewels, which is anywhere from $15,000 to $20,000.
Each of them have their benefits for sure. Like, obviously, you both know you came up in Minnesota for years.
Yeah.
Transitioning now to the USMTS, like, Minnesota it's a good organization. There's good racing, usually everywhere you go. But it's
It's a whole nother level.
You can't compare the two. Really.
No.
Yeah,
Nope.
no, you can't.
No comparison whatsoever.
Because when I go to a Wissota, or when we go to a Wissota show, we're racing against 16 to 20.
16 on a good night, maybe?
Yeah, 16 to 20 on
yeah,
a
and then
weekly
I just see
night
it's daily posted.
of racing, weekly show in Wissota. And then we go to our USMTS races, and there's 70.
70.
The lowest car count was 63 so far this year.
Yeah, so I mean,
And
there's.
any of those
Last
63
year
cars
out of
could
the-
win.
So let's just say average 50 cars a night. Well, 50 cars, there's only 24 that are going to the
There's
AMA.
only- yep.
So
Like last year, there was only one night where there was 26 cars. I think was the least amount.
and that was on a Sunday night.
Yeah, Sunday night in Iowa.
Yep.
So let me ask you this, Jay. Did you ever think back 10 years ago you'd be racing the USMTS?
Honestly, I didn't. Like 10 years ago, I don't even know when I started racing in 2013. So how many years ago was that?
9.
That'd be nice.
So that's 9 years ago. So yeah, no, I never pictured me getting this far in racing. And then we raced last year. I mean, there was sometimes I was just like, you know what, this is a waste of our time. I'm spending a lot of money.
Coming home pissed off in the
Yeah.
truck,
Yeah.
And then
8 hours away from home.
we're trying
11
to
hours.
race as much as we can, so we're racing home. Then we get a WISSOTA car. We come home, unload the USMTS car, load the WISSOTA car, and then we're off to the next racetrack. But
Which, mind you, your WISSOTA A-Mod and your USMTS A-Mod are completely different. They're the same kind of car, but the setup, the way you drive them,
yeah,
everything is
Weight,
different.
tires,
Yep.
everything.
but yeah, I never pictured. I've always dreamed when I obviously.
Growing up watching Dirt Nights.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, when I was a kid, I loved
Notice
dirt
you're
nights.
racing against a dirt night.
Yep.
Yeah.
Did you, when you were growing up, or not growing up, but coming up in racing, did you have like the one guy you just thought was the best race car driver, or somebody you always looked up to?
Man, I watched like when I watched Dirt Nights, it was Ryan Gustin, John Tash.
Who is also from Watertown.
Yeah,
Yeah.
John Tash. Like,
We have one of the dirt nights living in our hometown.
Yeah.
One of
And
the
we're-
best.
And he
and that's
was
where I
on
get
it.
my feel from.
He's a good guy.
And my engine that I race now, he, I think, kind of put the bug in the ear of my dad and sold us his old USMTS engine. And that's who kind of kicked Dad in the butt to say, put your kid on tour. And so we did it. So thanks to John Tesh for that. But yeah, Ryan Gustin and John Tesh. And honestly, I always loved Al Hanna's attitude
the
on
A
dirt
train.
night. Al
The
Hanna
A-train.
would get mad, and it was funny. And now, not to mention, so last year, we were at 81 Speedway in
Park City, Kansas.
Park City, Kansas, and I needed some gears. And by golly, he was there, and he was the one that borrowed me some gears. And not to mention, we were just in Kansas, and I brought them back to him because he's like, don't worry about it, they're going to be hot. I'll just
I'll
get
get
them
'em
from you
next
next year. Well, honestly, when I gave him back, he's just like, I don't think he remembered. But it was just the cool thing because I grew up watching the Dirt Nights, or didn't grow up, but that season or two they had of Dirt Nights. I mean, that was the guy I was seeing, and then he had tough luck on Dirt Nights, but it was always kind of comical when he didn't get mad. But we all get mad, so I mean, when you got somebody following you with a camera all the time, they would see
Yeah.
that all the time too.
So, Carl, being a crew chief, what's the toughest part of it?
Well, I think, like Taylor said, it's always second guessing if you did everything you were supposed to do. Did you check that air pressure? The big one that gets me is, did you torque wheels? Because that's a bad deal if you don't torque wheels.
Or the fuel cap.
Fuel cap, left that off one time, not good.
Or
Did you learn?
Carl's always feeling his head. Did I leave my sunglasses on the back
where
end
are
of
my
the car?
sunglasses?
Where are the fogs at?
Yeah. But no, it's all those little, it's the little things that you have to worry about. Like, I think I probably checked the fuel cap and the gear loop cap 17 times before the
Before
car
he goes
goes out
out.
on the racetrack.
So, not to mention, how hard is it? You're going to school to be a lawyer and be a crew chief. That's two busy
Yeah.
things, two important things.
It's been really tough this year. The schedule just hasn't lined up as well as last year. But I mean, especially like we said, it's 8-9 months out of the year. So during the summer, it's fine. But balancing the two and making sure you can do your best with both of the two, it's a hard thing.
And I'd say law school is pretty important. You can't really miss anything
Yeah,
there.
probably shouldn't. But
Should
it's
probably
like
be first on the priority list.
But hey,
I've
this
gone
thing-
down the road on the computer doing homework or doing a meeting or whatever, and it's tough to manage. But
just think we'll have somebody to bail us out now.
Yeah.
We're in trouble, 'cause we
We're
like
rolling
to have
down the
some
road,
fun.
we get in trouble.
and that's the other thing too. Like we're talking like there's usually never more than 3-4 people in the trailer at a time for us. Like it's you, me, you, your brother, like obviously your dad and your uncle and Our boy Jimmy always helps. But
Show your
when you're on the road, especially like when it's those long trips and it's just a few people, it's everybody's got to pitch in and do their part.
So
So Jay,
yeah, lots of traveling, but out of everything you've raced, let's get on. What's your favorite racetrack?
Oh,
And
that's a good one.
like your favorite racetrack, and what's your favorite thing to get at the concessions at the racetrack?
Okay, but what if your favorite concession stand isn't your same favorite racetrack? Because I have a different favorite concession stand than my favorite track.
All right, so name the both.
Who wants to go
Mine.
first?
Oh,
This is tough.
I've got like 3 or 4 tracks in my head right now, but I think I have to say Cedar Lake. I think that's just it's like the facility is amazing. The racing every time we've been there has been good, and that's also where the mini tacos are.
Yes,
That's
the mini tacos.
Deep
They
bet.
are
And
famous for their mini tacos.
a
I've never got
close
to try them
second.
before.
A close second is the Chicken-O's we used to get at Jamestown Speedway.
Oh,
I've heard
Those
that.
suckers were good.
I've heard that if anybody knows Chase Gelling, he's always a fan of that. He's like, you got if you
Oh,
go to
they were
Jamestown,
good.
you got to get the chicken O's.
Oh yeah. Don, what's your favorite racetrack, and what racetrack?
See,
has
so I
your
don't get to
favorite?
adventure out as far as you guys do.
Yeah.
So I've never been to Cedar Lake, but one of my favorite racetracks is probably Grand Forks.
Yeah.
Little Bull. I love bull rings.
Yeah.
Well, obviously Watertown is probably up there too. I mean, nothing's better than a hometown crowd.
Yeah, we should have said other than our hometown
Yeah.
track.
Because we love Casino
Yeah.
Speedway for
Yeah.
sure. But
But I mean, that or Lisbon. I got to race up there last year too. That one's pretty cool. But I like the smaller, short track bull rings. Get up on the wheel. And my favorite concession stand food. Honestly, I don't know.
Anyone that's got a good cheeseburger or what?
Cheeseburger. Well, Brown County Speedway, they hit it with the ice cream from Dairy Queen.
Yeah,
Oh,
they
yeah.
got the
Yeah.
blizzards.
Yeah.
Those are nice on those hot days.
Yeah.
Or Grand Forks, they have their taco bowls that you don't really see around.
Yep.
And Ogilvy Raceway. I don't know if you guys have ever been there. Anybody watching? But they got a lot of like.
Their
Gas
concession
station
stand
food.
is
Yeah,
bomb.
There's a lot of good ones out there.
Yep.
There is.
Yep.
I would honestly say my favorite racetrack is obviously probably Casino Speedway or Grand Forks. Like Tom said, big bull ring guy, small racetrack, love them. It just feels like you don't get as spaced out, and there's always action. You get into lap traffic. You can just there's so much action going on them lower racetracks, which is good for the fans. And like me, I'm just an adrenaline junkie.
Well, it makes
Where-
you a better racer too because,
Yeah.
there's, like you said, there's always lap traffic, so you got to be able to race through that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's probably Watertown and Grand Forks are probably my favorite racetracks. Concessions foods, man, I don't eat a lot.
No.
Yeah, see, that's my problem. When I'm racing now, I don't. Usually I just
Well,
eat my
usually,
mom's
like-
ham sandwiches on the way home.
Yeah.
So like, if it was concession food, my wife makes this buffalo chicken pizza. I think.
oh yeah.
And
Okay, we should.
It's really really good.
Okay,
but like,
say your concession food because then I'll go around and
Yeah.
I'll ask the favorite thing
Dang.
I make.
Yeah.
so
Oh boy.
I already spoiled that. But favorite concession food, the chicken rolls are good in Jamestown.
Oh, they're
man, but
good.
See, I've never tried that either.
I
The
didn't
mini
either.
tacos or the chicken ones.
yeah, mini tacos in Cedar Lake. Son of a gun. Oh man, I don't know. But Casino Speedway's got
Pork
Pork
on
on
a
a
stick.
stick.
That's right.
What? I forgot all about that.
yeah.
one.
So that's where I'm gonna go with pork on a stick.
Oh, that's good.
I believe that's one of the racetrack sponsors, Dakota Butcher, here in Watertown. I think at a whole bunch of locations now, but I will have to say I think it's pork on a stick for me.
Yeah.
Okay, I have multiple favorite tracks. My number one is Cedar Lake, for sure. Other than Casino Speedway,
Yeah. we
Casino
got-
Speedway is our all-time favorite.
In which
We all know
I
that.
think we were pretty lucky to live. Our shop is a mile from Casino
Yeah.
Speedway,
Yeah.
and you don't. I mean, that's all you hear about people in interviews.
I mean,
like,
honestly, we got 3 good racetracks that we could go to
Yeah,
on
any given
Friday
weekend.
to Sunday.
Yeah.
I mean, Friday nights you got Aberdeen or
Yeah.
Montevideo. Saturday nights you got Madison, Minnesota, or Miller
Miller.
Central,
Miller.
or Miller, South Dakota.
and here on there on every
or
once in a while now.
here on once in a while.
Yep.
And then on Sundays you got Watertown, So
And I wish, like I said, Lisbon was one of my favorite tracks. But
Yeah.
they race on Sunday, and I'm
Yeah.
not going to miss Watertown for nothing.
Yeah.
yeah,
But
especially when it's in your backyard.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Right.
there's. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I didn't know if you were done, but gotta get Taylor's favorite track.
Oh yeah.
My favorite track is Cedar Lake, but the close second would have to be Hamilton County. I love standing so close to the race cars. Anywhere on the, you stand on the catwalk, you're right over top of the race cars. You stand in the corner, you could reach out and grab the car. You're so close to it. I love feeling the race car. I just like that track.
And when you say Hamilton County, my favorite part of that whole racetrack is when you go down the huge
Yeah.
hill.
The
to
first
get,
time we went
you know.
down there, we're like, big red ain't making it back up. My favorite concession food would have to be pork on a stick, #1, and the mini tacos with salsa at Cedar Lake. They are the best.
And if you ever go to Cedar Lake, there's a hidden gem
Yes.
2 miles down
Oh,
the
I
road.
wish we could think of what it was called.
I don't know what it is called, but
It's
it's,
like
like
Cedar Creek or something like
Yeah,
something.
it's a
Creek.
little hidden gem bar little deal. It's got dartboards, pool tables, a couple slot machine, gambling machines. And
It's about like 4 miles from the track. You can get there on a 4-wheeler.
Yeah.
We've done it.
We did.
Even with the flat tire.
Yeah,
we
we
never
made
let you
it.
down.
and it is phenomenal
Yeah.
food. And just, it's really
Very welcoming people there. Too.
Yeah.
We went there and camped over the 4th last year for,
Yeah.
what was it, the sprint cars were there?
cool. Yeah, World of Outlaws.
So we camped there. We went to the golf course there. That was a lot of fun. Then we went and ate at that restaurant. Cedar Lake is a blast.
Yes.
If you haven't ever been there, you need to go there some weekend.
Let me ask you guys this. So we're talking about favorite racetracks. What's one of your favorite racetracks that you get to watch, like the Lucas Oil late models, the World Outlaw sprint cars, the World Outlaw late models that you watch on TV that it might be a little too far away? I mean, nothing's too far for you guys, but like for instance, Eldora or like
Yeah.
Knoxville. Do you guys have a favorite track like that?
So I'd say like the sprint cars. Obviously, I'm not big into the sprint cars, but then I met you guys and then got a little more in. I love the atmosphere of the Knoxville Nationals, just all the hype around it. Even when I'm not there, I just feel like I am there, just because like if you're not there and you're talking about it, it's always who did this, who did that.
Yeah.
Like I like that. I like knowing what's going on. The late model deal. I honestly would still say, even in the World of Outlaw sprint cars, Grand Forks. I mean, there's a lot of
Yeah,
action
they
in
always
sprint
have
cars
good
in like
forks.
5 laps. They're already in lap traffic.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of action.
I watched Kyle Larson on TV go through the infield because he got spun leading it.
Yeah,
Ended up back in 3rd and still won it in a
Yeah.
matter of a lap.
and it's just so that's what I just like really like. As I'm a racer, but I'm gonna watch races. I have a little bit of an idea. Obviously, not in a sprint car, but like late models. I mean, they're completely different, obviously, but just I've raced on that racetrack, so it's like, oh boy, I know how tight quarters it is because it's not always on TV. Is it the same?
Yeah, exactly.
So just you get that real life instinct as well of like what them drivers are having to go through at a split second on that racetrack. So I would say Grand Forks. Obviously, Casino Speedway has never had the Outlaws, but that's what I would say. Those are for sure.
Mhm.
That is for sure my favorite racetrack that those guys race on.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you there. I mean, well, I should say for the like Grand Forks, obviously that's my favorite track. But for like the Knoxville Nationals, I've been lucky enough to go there. I think it's been like 6 times or something. The atmosphere there is unreal. Carl, you can agree. You've been
Oh,
there.
yeah.
You've been to the Dingus.
to the Dingus, yep.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't think you can beat, like you said, even just watching on TV the Knoxville Nationals because they put on a great production. They put on a great race every year. So I think I would say Knoxville.
When I was there, I have never seen a more intense pit stop than the halfway point. They got
Yeah.
like 6 or 8 minutes to do whatever they want. Anything, and if you're still working on it after that, you're going to the back. Doesn't matter if you're leading it or not. Fan favorite or driver, going to the back. But I mean, it's crazy. I mean, you see sprint car haulers parked in somebody's front yard,
Yeah.
so they don't have to park miles away. Like people
Yeah.
there, just like you drive around in town. There's campers in people's yards. I mean, it's a town of like 100 people. It seems like one main drag. Unreal.
I will say this, like Todd Staley, obviously the USMTS owner, and I believe he's the USRA owner. But he has the USRA Nationals, what I thought was really cool. So same with like Knoxville Nationals, they have those celebrity go-karts, right?
Yep.
So this year, they had a kickball tournament, I believe, and then they had a go-kart. Every track owner or promoter got to race go-karts, and they duked it out on go-karts at a racetrack. So I thought that was pretty cool because it's the same thing as like Knoxville Nationals. But I wish we would have went to that deal. We were tied up with the soda stuff too.
Plus that track, that's a really cool track.
Yeah, Luke Soul Speedway
That's
is
an
phenomenal.
amazing facility.
Back in the go-karting days down in Brookings, they had a track there. And actually, like everybody was bored one day, so they had a foot race around the whole track.
Yeah, I mean, just to keep everyone entertained
Yep.
throughout the day. I mean, like us when we were on tour. I mean, like Taylor said earlier in the show, it's sleep. You always needed sleep, but for some reason,
You never
we would
wanted
get
to.
home or get to the next racetrack at 4:00 in the morning. We're up at 9:00,
Yeah.
and we'd
You
have
just
the race
don't want
car.
to miss anything. You
Yeah,
know?
so you get done working on the race car at noon. It's like, damn, racing doesn't start until 7. So what do you do? Well, obviously, like nowadays, we have cell phones and a whole bunch of social media.
TikTok.
TikTok.
Yeah.
If you don't follow us on
Yeah,
TikTok
follow
yet, you
us.
better get
Yeah,
there.
get more
TikTok.
New
sports.
video up
Yep,
tonight.
2
Yeah.
new videos.
Yeah.
So I mean, you just don't know what to do, and I just feel like if you have something like that, obviously on the weekly show, I get it's hard, but it'd be something. Just even like if you can get a football out and get a
Oh,
couple
we played it.
guys. And,
We played
We
plenty
played
of
lots of
tackle
football.
football.
yeah,
We
Yeah.
always end up at the shop by 9 o'clock on Sunday,
Yep.
and we live a mile from the track, so we end up there by 2 o'clock, and the races don't start until 7.
Yeah,
the next
jump
thing you
roping
know-
with extension cords.
Yeah, next thing you know, me and Siggy are tackle each other for football.
yeah, wheelies on 4-wheeler.
Yeah.
Doing a
Wheelies
wheelie,
on
doing a wheelie on a 4-wheeler.
Yeah.
What about the Casino 2.0? Can't ever forget about that.
Oh, yeah.
The
So our-
Casino 2.0.
The old shop. The old shop in the back, we had a little mini racetrack.
Had a couple jumps.
It had a couple jumps.
If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure I had the track record.
Oh no, no.
No. What? You haven't spoke much. What do you think of Casino 2.0 or all of our craziness that we do throughout a race season?
Nobody ever sees me do any of that.
'Cause you're
but
always behind
I'm
the
always
camera.
the one
Behind the
videoing
camera.
and getting pictures, and that's my favorite thing. Jason always gets mad at me because I'm always taking pictures. I'm always taking videos. But someday we're gonna look back and be like, why didn't we ever take pictures of this? Why didn't we ever videotape this? Like, then we can look like. If we're bored some nights, we come down to the shop, we airplay our phones to the TV, and we watch our old Snapchat videos from 4 years ago when we were racing,
Yeah.
and we laugh our asses off all night long. I mean, we can do that every single night and still have videos to watch. Like, I love it. I love it. And, like, all the extra time, like, we get to the shop, we get our stuff done right away, so then we have the afternoon to goof around like that and hang out with each other. That's what I like the best, is
There's
all
a
the fun we have.
there's a lot more to racing than just coming down to the shop,
Yeah.
working on the cars, and going home.
Yeah, and I like
Especially
being
with
able
this
to
group.
capture it.
Yeah.
So then we, and I think the our fan base at least likes watching what we
Yeah.
do too. I mean, we're kind of idiots when or you guys are, I guess. You guys are the ones
Yeah.
with videos.
Yeah, but
I mean,
like,
some of them are my ideas, but
okay, but one of the funniest things I've ever seen watching videos, I wasn't there this day, but watching Justin Norgard take the Ranger off a 4-wheeler jump, and the body could barely hold on to that thing. But
Yeah, but it's a fucking Ford Ranger.
oh,
we have.
and we can't forget about the wheelchair days.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
we're
we
all
have
going
I
to
didn't,
wheelchairs.
I didn't know how to. I ended up on my back more than I was on the wheels.
Yeah.
Best seat in the house.
Yeah. No, this is the best seat. No,
Yeah.
no, no.
Yeah.
Lots of memories.
Lots of memories.
And
at the-
lots happen on the road too. I mean, I should be better about videotaping going down the road too. Like, we need a GoPro set up
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
it captures everything we do. Because
And
there's
honestly-
so much that happens that isn't on film that
Yeah.
should be.
Yeah,
Like,
and honestly,
listen to
the
Snoop Double Diz.
yeah,
Yeah.
and the Casino 2.0, that's a shout out to Todd Brink because it was his backyard.
Yeah, he
Let
let
us-
us
Yeah.
Completely
destroy
trashed his
his
backyard.
Let's say
So
the
thanks
neighbors
to
were
Todd
really
and Kathy
pleased.
Brink for allowing us to do that. But Carl, when we talked to Brink about racing the 4-wheelers back there and stuff, and the whole story. Did you ever have any experience on any motorsport thing?
No, I was completely inexperienced.
And that's why Carl was like 5 seconds off the track record.
So I think the first time I ever like really got after it on a 4-wheeler was we went to South Shore.
Oh yeah. Oh, town that's got racing.
Yep.
I got a little too much air on the greenway. I come down, dang near hit my face on the handlebar. But man, when we were on the Casino 2.0,
I mean, that berm down there in the back corner,
Oh, yeah.
that was insane.
We made sure we got to the shop at like 7 o'clock in the morning. Well, first, we went through a little spurt where we would go to the prairie shop. We would have our Sunday morning ritual
Yeah.
breakfast, even on Saturdays.
Yeah.
We'd eat our breakfast, we'd get to the shop, we'd get our stuff done, and make sure it was loaded, and then we would have Casino 2.0 for the rest of the day
And
until we had to leave.
I'm pretty sure there was one time. I mean, we were an hour from leaving the race shop. Do a wheelie on my dirt
Oh,
bike,
yeah.
Oh.
and my whole back is torched. I
Yeah.
stood it up too far, fell off, scraped my whole back.
But, okay, your outfit you were wearing, it was probably 95 degrees out.
Well,
Middle of summer, you had muck boots on.
I was washing tires.
Athletic shorts and a cutoff. No helmet, nothing else on, so I don't really feel that bad for you.
I will tell you right now. So my mom had to put some gauze crap on my back so it didn't get infected. And there was one time we had to peel it off, and there was tape on the scab. And I swear that is the worst pain you will ever feel in your life.
You want to talk about some pain? So 2 years ago, I was down at the shop sanding some tires.
Oh.
So I'm sanding away, and it got away from me, and the next thing you know, it wrapped up in my shirt, and it cut me all off. But that didn't stop me. I finished up the tires.
Carl,
And it was
let's-
like a Tuesday night, so I didn't have to finish, but I was like, I'm getting them done. I go home, I show my mom. The next thing you know, my cousin Reagan, she's coming to save the day with him. She's pulling rubber out of my cut with some pleaser or some pliers or whatever it was.
Tweezers.
Carl,
Carl, what's
I mean, I
your
guess-
worst pain that you've experienced while racing?
Oh,
I've got a
boy.
funny one if you don't say it.
well, the worst pain that I was ever in. So we're going. It's the first race of the year. I'm going to pick up Tom because he's coming with. I stopped at Casey's, got myself a drink.
oh,
Got a little
I know this
snack.
one.
I started to get a little stomach ache. So I pick up Tom, take him to the shop. Stomach ache's just getting worse. And then when we got in the truck, I literally thought I was dying.
Not to mention,
We're-
I look over to you, you're sweating.
I didn't
Sweat
say
bullets.
anything. I'm sitting there like.
Whiter
About
than the
to
I
inside
pass.
of
thought
this
Carl was
car.
about to be DED dead.
Yeah.
So he looks
Jason,
at me.
yeah.
I was like, something's wrong.
No,
So we're-
first Jason goes, Carl, you alright? Yeah, I'm fine. I'm just hot.
Yeah,
Sweat beads just rolling down. And I looked at Jason and I said, something is not right with him. Well, then Carl finally stepped up and said it.
We're going down the main drag through town in the semi. 2 race cars in the back. Hang a left. I'm in the ER. Called my mom. She's freaking out. Gallbladder was going out.
Yeah,
Thing
where
was junk.
were we headed that day?
We were going to Wisconsin.
And where'd you end up?
So I got out of the ER, and he texted me and was like, well, just when you get out, take my truck. So I was like, my mom was still there. I was like, all right, you got to take me to the shop. And she's like, what? She's like, I got to go. I'm taking Jay's truck. I'm going to Wisconsin. She's like, you are not. Well, I ended up in Wisconsin after getting out of the ER. 2 months later, they're cutting me open and yanking the gully out.
The golly. Carl, what'd you lose that day on the back of the race cars?
My
The
sunglasses.
Pogs?
Yeah, the pug sunglasses.
They made it all the way
You
to
want a guy
Wisconsin.
that can lose a nice pair of sunglasses, that's me.
Yeah.
Alexandria's got a nice pair.
Pair of Oakleys, buried in Viking Speedway somewhere. My Costas are somewhere around here. They gotta be.
Carl, what about in Arizona this last
Oh,
2
yeah.
winters ago? When you were cutting like a visor or something off of Jason's car?
I still got the scar.
Tell us that story.
Didn't you get
So-
a new knife?
Yeah, I get this cool new knife, pocket knife for Christmas. So we go to Arizona, and he had the visor on. Obviously, it's sunny in Arizona. Well, it's nighttime.
Thanks to Nickerson Harvesting
Yes,
Ranch.
Nickerson Harvesting.
And 4-bar
4-bar.
transport.
They got us
They
down there.
sponsored us there.
Took
Yeah.
great care of us. But it's nighttime, so he wants the visor out, and he literally says to me, "Go get a snips and cut this off." I'll pull my fancy new knife out, put my hand on the car, start cutting, right into my hand.
Blood
Blood
everywhere.
pouring out.
So did the visor get cut, or did you guys end up leaving it?
I don't even remember.
No,
We
it
got
got
blood.
off because there was blood all over it.
Yeah.
I remember that.
dripping down the side of the door.
Oh,
even.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I walk into the trailer. Chris Holbach was in there. I was like, "Chris, I need a rag, and I need it now." So he gives me a rag. I was like, "I cut myself." He asked me if I need stitches. I definitely needed stitches. But
You were at a racetrack.
Lance Schill was next to us, and somebody that was with him gave me a Band-Aid, super glued me up. But that hurt very bad. I couldn't move my finger for the rest of the week. And it was just,
Carl, what about all the knee slaps in the truck on the way down the road?
yeah. I've been beat up.
Or the fruit snacks thrown at you?
Fruit
Oh, yeah.
snacks, smacking my hand with cookies in it.
Boy, there's been a lot of memories already in our racing.
Yeah,
Mhm.
in a short time. I mean,
And honestly, I'm thankful for my parents and all of our sponsors that allow us to do all this stuff.
I can
Because if
agree
it
with
wasn't
you
for them,
there.
we wouldn't be on the road up
Yeah.
and down, especially on the USMTS tour. There's no way I'd be able to make it without all of our great friendships and sponsors that we have to keep doing what we're doing.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there, and I also got to give a special shout out to B&G because they let me go racing now that I work there, and
well, you
Get
said
that.
it too. The best part is our sponsors aren't just asking them for money. They all have turned into friendships
Yeah.
that will last a long time, and it's worth a lot more
Then their money.
than what they give.
Yep.
Yeah,
We're
absolutely.
very lucky with sponsors.
Yeah.
well, I couldn't tell you how many times I had to call Jason up, ask if he could build me another bumper, and I'm good at wrecking those.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like this first podcast was pretty good.
Yeah, it's been fun.
We could talk all night about different stories.
This
that
could
we
be
have.
Yeah.
4 hours long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say for sure there'll be an episode 2. Will you guys?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
for
absolutely.
sure.
Everybody else just has to let us know if they like it.
Yeah.
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 Let us know
Leave a
what they-
comment. Leave a comment.
Give us some recommendations on it, maybe something you want to hear us talk
Yeah.
about.
What are some questions you have for us?
Maybe
Yeah.
we could have a video where they ask questions and we answer.
Yeah.
Or if you want somebody on the podcast, let us know who you want as a guest. We
Yeah.
can always bring people to
Yeah.
the shop talk.
Mm-hmm.
Like, share, comment,
Yep.
let us
Subscribe.
know,
Subscribe.
Follow us on YouTube.
Facebook,
Facebook,
Instagram,
yeah.
TikTok. Good Motorsports is the name for everything.
Yep. Good Motorsports.
Good
Follow it.
Motorsports.
Like it. Share it.
Yep.
Let your family know. Let your friends
You
know.
will get good laughs.
I gotta
Trust
give,
me.
and I gotta give a shout out to Nichols Motorsports too, because
Yep.
I mean,
Who's that?
I don't even know.
That's you.
That's
yeah,
you.
That's me. But I
And your
mean,
brother.
yeah, my brother Mike. He-
And your old man Land.
Yep, and my mom Gina, and
And your
Rusty.
dog.
Yep,
and
Don't
Mike
forget the
G.
dog. That's
I
like
can't
our
forget
dog.
about-
Can't forget about our dog.
and we can't forget about Mike's new wife Amanda.
Oh yeah,
And Amanda.
of course.
Yep, yep. So
Yeah.
Nichols Motorsports on everything too, so
Yep.
pretty much the same. Just
Yeah.
change it
Social
to
media.
Nichols.
Yep.
There it is. I
Yeah.
think that's
Our
episode
first,
1.
yep.
First
First
podcast.
shop talk is in the books.
And it's been real.
And we will
It's been
see you
good.
next time.
Yep.
Make sure you subscribe.